Okay, so how many work tools do you actually use every day? Like really use? And how many are just sitting there open in tabs adding to the chaos?
Yeah.
Today we're diving deep into something that might sound kind of boring, but I promise it's not. IT simplification.
Right.
We found this really interesting article from iFeeltech that blew my mind a little bit.
Okay.
It goes way beyond just saying too many tools is bad and gets into how much this digital sprawl really costs.
What I found fascinating is that the article doesn't just blame the technology itself. It's about us. We, as in humans.
Oh, interesting.
We solve a little problem with a new app, then another one pops up, and suddenly we're swimming in platforms and passwords and we can't keep up.
Oh, totally. And then you can't even remember, like, wait, which platform has that proposal?
Exactly.
And I need it now.
Yeah.
And this article goes into how a lot of companies end up with this Frankenstein tech stack.
Yeah.
You know, using Microsoft 365 for email, Dropbox for files, then maybe Box.com for client stuff, and who even knows for internal communication.
Right. And the article points out that all these separate systems create a ton of hidden costs.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, employees waste time switching between these platforms, logging in, learning a new interface.
Yeah.
It's no wonder productivity suffers.
And onboarding someone new in that situation?
Oh, forget it.
It's like, good luck. Figure it out.
Right. Instead of getting started, they're on this wild goose chase trying to figure out how anything works.
Exactly.
It's like using a map where half the streets are missing and the other half are in a different language.
I love that.
And this is what really got me about the iFeeltech article. Simplifying your tech stack is like finding that one missing puzzle piece.
Yeah.
That brings the whole picture into focus, you know.
Makes sense.
It's about building a tech ecosystem that empowers your team instead of holding them back.
Okay, I am sold on the why, but what about the how?
Yeah.
Because this article doesn't just point out problems, it actually offers solutions.
Exactly. And it emphasizes that there are different approaches depending on what your company needs and what's important to you.
Okay, so it's not one size fits all.
Not at all. For example, the article talks about some companies that are all in on platforms like Google Workspace, especially if they use Chrome devices.
So everything's happening in one place.
Exactly.
Is that kind of like having all your cooking tools in one drawer instead of all over the kitchen?
Precisely.
I can get behind that.
This streamlined approach works for everything from email to file storage, even document collaboration and video calls.
Nice.
And the article points out that with a platform like Google Workspace, it's all managed from a central hub, which is great for IT.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And since we're talking about IT teams having a good day, the article also mentioned Proton Suite, which is all about privacy and security.
Yeah.
For businesses dealing with really sensitive data, that's got to be a big deal.
Right. With Proton Suite, they're all about end-to-end encryption, so even they can't access your data.
Oh.
This is huge for industries with strict compliance rules, like healthcare or finance.
Okay, so that is serious security. Sounds like there isn't one perfect solution for IT simplification then.
You got it. It depends.
Okay.
But the article makes a strong argument that no matter which platform you choose, bringing all your tools together has some major advantages.
Right, so we like the why, and there seem to be good options for the what.
Yeah.
But I bet some people listening are thinking, this sounds great in theory, but way too overwhelming to actually do.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, where do you even start untangling this tech mess?
It can feel that way for sure. But the good news is the iFeeltech article actually gives you a step-by-step roadmap for simplifying things.
Okay, so we don't need to freak out. We're not scrapping everything and starting over.
No, not at all. It's more like taking inventory, you know?
Okay.
Figuring out what you already have, what you actually need and use, and then just finding a better way to organize it all.
I like that. So where do we start with this whole digital decluttering thing?
Well, they say you should start by really digging into what tools you're using right now.
Okay.
Identify any redundancies or overlaps. You know, just seeing where you can streamline.
So it's like Marie Kondoing your tech stack.
Exactly.
Instead of asking if it sparks joy, and it's like, is this really necessary?
Right.
I love it.
And then once you have a clear picture of your current setup, that's when you get to the fun part.
Yeah.
Picking the right platform.
Oh, okay.
And this is where you really got to think about your company's specific needs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, what are your workflows? What's important to you? Do you need seamless collaboration? Rock solid security? A really user-friendly interface?
Yeah, it's like choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
You wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw, right?
Precisely.
Oh, okay.
And the article highlights a few different platforms and what they're good at.
Oh, cool. Like what?
So Microsoft 365 might be a good fit if
Sure.
your company's
Yeah.
already using a lot of Microsoft stuff.
Makes sense.
While Google Workspace, with its focus on collaboration and all those cloud-based tools,
Mm.
might be better for businesses that are more flexible and remote-friendly.
Okay.
And then, of course, we can't forget Proton Suite for those who put data privacy and security above all else.
So many good options. Okay, so let me get this straight. Assess our current tech, choose our platform, and then just flip the switch and we're good to go.
Well, not so fast. The article really stresses how important it is to have a really well thought out migration plan.
Oh, right. Okay.
You got to carefully move all your data and accounts and workflows from the old system to the new platform.
I can see how that could get a little messy.
Yeah, it can be tricky,
Okay.
but they give you a clear roadmap for a smooth transition.
Okay. I like that.
They suggest starting with a small pilot group,
Okay.
just to test things out and see if there are any hiccups along the way.
That's smart. Start small, work out the kinks, then bring in the rest of the team.
Exactly.
But it's not just about the technical stuff, is it? This article also talks about how important it is to make sure your team's on board with all of this.
Absolutely. And this is so important. You can have the most amazing tech solution in the world, but it's useless if your team doesn't know how to use it, or even worse, if they just resist the change completely.
It's like you need to bring them along on the journey.
Yeah, exactly. And the article really drives that point home. Like they say, training and communication are key here.
Totally. It can't just be, okay, here's what button to click.
Right.
It's got to be, hey, this is actually going to make your life easier.
Yeah.
Here's why this change is good. And, oh, by the way, what questions do you have about all this?
Exactly. And all that upfront work you do with training and communication, it can actually save you from a lot of headaches down the road.
Totally. Because the smoother the transition is,
Yes.
the faster your team can start to benefit from this simplified IT setup. Which brings us to the big question. What are those benefits? We've talked about a few already, but this iFeeltech article goes really deep on how much IT complexity actually costs, and it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is where the article really hits its stride,
Okay.
because on the surface, having a bunch of different tools doesn't seem like a big deal, right?
Yeah, especially if they're all cloud-based. You're just paying a monthly fee.
Right. But those costs can really add up.
It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, but in this case, it's more like budget drain by 1,000 SaaS subscriptions.
Exactly. And the article does a great job of breaking down all those hidden costs.
Like what, for example?
One of the biggest ones is licensing fees.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
When you're paying for a ton of different services every month or every year,
Yeah.
those fees add up really fast, especially as your team grows.
So basically, getting your IT tools organized could save you a lot of money.
Absolutely. It's like switching from having 5 different streaming services
Yeah.
to just having one that has everything you need.
And then your bank account's happy too.
Exactly. And it's not just about saving money either.
Right, because time is money.
Exactly.
So I imagine all that jumping between different tools can really hurt people's productivity.
For sure. Think about all the time your IT team spends just managing all those platforms, troubleshooting compatibility issues, onboarding new employees onto this crazy system.
It's a lot.
And that's time they could be spending on things that really matter.
Yeah.
Like improving your cybersecurity or exploring new technologies that could really benefit the business.
Oh, yeah. So it's like they're too busy putting out fires to actually build the company firehouse.
Right. And then on top of that, there's the mental toll that all that complexity has on everybody.
Yeah, good point.
Constantly switching between different platforms, remembering different passwords, dealing with all the little glitches and compatibility issues. It's exhausting.
Oh, totally.
It just leads to tech fatigue, frustration. People get less productive.
So this is about more than just efficiency and money. It's about taking care of your team, too.
100%. Having a simpler tech stack means less frustration for everyone, less confusion, less stress.
Right.
And when your team feels like their technology is actually supporting them instead of slowing them down, that's when the magic really happens.
And that's what really resonated with me about this article. It's not just about being practical. It's about how IT simplification can actually help your company reach its full potential.
It's pretty inspiring, right?
Totally.
When you get rid of all the unnecessary stuff, you make room for the things that really matter. You free up resources, time, money, mental energy, and you can put all that towards innovation, better customer service, actually growing your business. It lets your team be more flexible, more responsive, and focus on what they're good at.
I love it. It's like cleaning all the clutter out of your house so you have space for something amazing.
Exactly.
So anyone listening who feels totally overwhelmed by their tech setup right now,
Yeah.
you are not alone.
It's a common problem.
It really is, and it doesn't have to be this way. You can take control of your IT, simplify things, and that's going to unlock so many benefits for your business, for your team, even for yourself.
Absolutely. It's worth it.
It really is. Now we want to hear from you. If you've had success streamlining your IT, what was the biggest win for you? Was it saving money? Did your team get more productive? Did you finally start getting a good night's sleep? Tell us your story in the comments. We'd love to hear about it.